Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I am late because I was doing way too much trying to use my charger and things like that. Good morning, peeps. What's today? Thursday. Today's Thursday, January 22nd. I believe that's what it is. The lights are still not really on the way I need them to be, and of course the weather isn't helping. It's supposed to be a big storm, ice storm, snow, whatever. I don't know if y'all saw what went down in Russia with the snow. Out of control, man. The situation in Russia is like, what in the world is giving Snowmageddon? Snowmageddon, and they're calling for ice. And they telling us to stay inside. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And so I gotta wait to see what they're gonna say at work. But as far as whether or not our buildings are gonna close and everything ice over. If everything ices over, there's gonna be the expectation of power outages. Of course, the power lines will be frozen or iced over. So I got to get to the store and get me, even though I don't want to go to the store because I really don't have time for, come on. Calm down. Calm down. I really don't have time for there not even to be a piece of bread or an egg at the store. Granted, I don't need any, you see, a Tesla. This is the problem. I knew it. I don't like Tesla. But, yeah, y'all. Good morning. So, yeah, the snowfall in Russia was out of control. The kids was it was like literally skiing down from the top of buildings, okay? Like, whole apartment complexes was frozen over. I mean, I never saw anything like that, but I always understood that can happen. You know what I mean? But it's just trippy to see that that's happened in Russia. And, dang, how long is it going to take for that to melt down? That's out of control. That is out of control. I don't know. I'm gonna make me some food. Because if power's going to be down, that's fine. But I really don't have time to not have, to be able to eat. You know what I mean? There's some people like an OD predicting like, oh, you might not have power for a week. You might not have power for a month. It's like, oh, please. Enough. You know what I mean? And not because I don't believe it. It's just that it's like, I mean, if snow like that was to happen here in the good Georgia, in the good red state of Georgia, I would be so annoyed. Like, what in the hell? Pissed to the highest. Pissed to the highest. I'm making my way to the highway. Now, about 15-20 minutes ago, there was an accident on the exit that I need to get on at. So hopefully they clean that up before I get over there in the next minute or two. Ticking me off. So this weather is pissing me off so bad. But I'm glad I'm off tomorrow. And you know this. And I already put in for next Friday. But we will see. We will see what they come up with. So it's going to be interesting to see what goes on in the next week or so. I say the next 10 days or so. We will see what they come up with. But my plan is to stay blessed and highly favored regardless. Okay? Now, something I really, really want to talk to y'all about. This is something that I mentioned last year. and is really concerning for me, and I think everybody needs to be concerned about this. It's a part of Project 2025 that's potentially about to go down in a real way. And it's a scary thing if people don't listen and take action, okay? Last year, I talked about what they call the SAVE Act, right? And let's just go ahead and point out that the 19th Amendment allowed for women to vote, okay? But in Project 2025, they want to get rid of the 19th Amendment. They do not want women to vote, okay? See what I had to do you right there? Calm down. If you wanted to go faster, you should have already went faster. Don't wait until I speed up and act like you're going to like not let me get over. What is the point? What is the reason? But anyway, so the 19th Amendment allows for women to vote. In Project 2025, they want to get rid of the 19th Amendment. But in order to get rid of that amendment, the Constitution has to be amended again. Now, as we know, we're living in a time where there is no such thing as you can't do that. That's illegal. Everything that we're witnessing and participating in and just sitting around looking at, it's all you can't do that. It's all of it is based in you can't do that, you can't do that. None of the stuff that's happening is stuff that we can do, but it's being done. An amendment to the Constitution won't happen before midterms. Midterms is coming up in November, okay? That's in 10 months. So what the SAVE Act intent to do, ultimately, is to make it harder for everybody to vote. The reason why, and the way that they're going to choose, I'm getting on the highway now. The way that they're going to choose to make it harder for everybody to vote is that you're going to have to prove your citizenship in order to vote. Okay, you're thinking, I can do that. I got a birth certificate. I have a passport maybe. Great, I have an ID, a real ID. Okay, the problem is, and this is where the problem is going to come in for women. This is where the idea of the 19th Amendment, while there will not be an amendment right away if there is going to be one. But what they will do is make it difficult for everybody to vote, particularly women. Because in order to prove your citizenship, they are accepting birth certificates. They are not accepting passports. And if your real ID does not match up with your birth certificate, you will not be voting. Because they're using your birth certificate as your proof of ID or proof of citizenship. Therefore, if you have an ID, your ID must match your birth certificate. This creates a problem for women, hence the 19th Amendment, okay? The Constitution will not be amended before the midterms, but if you don't have a matching ID that goes along with your birth certificate before the midterms, you will not be voting. Now, this law the law itself has not passed, but it has been voted on and moved forward to go to the Senate. In the House, it was voted 220 to 208. 220s have it. It goes to the Senate. If the Senate approves this, you will not be voting for this upcoming election, for the midterm elections in November. You will not be voting unless you go down and change your IDs. Your real ID must match your birth certificate. This is imperative for women to understand, because even if you are divorced, if you kept that same last name, your name is not going to match up with your birth certificate. You will essentially be giving up your right to vote if you're not willing to change your name back. Okay? This is a problem. This is a huge problem. Now, we already know how the stats are saying, like, women, are initiate divorce 80% of the time. Okay? We know that the birth rate is down. Okay? This is extremely concerning, because while I'll be able to vote, there are a lot of people who are not going to be able to vote, particularly women, because what's going to happen is there's going to be a rift in your household if you want to go change your last name. So you have to decide if you want to keep your name or if you want to vote. And if you don't have if your ID is not matching your birth certificate, if this passes through the Senate, you will not vote in November and going forward until that is taken care of. What will happen instead is your husband will be able to vote on your behalf. The end. If you can't vote, what do you think that means? What do you think that means? People, the divorce rate is getting ready to go through the roof for women who are going to want to change their name and the husbands who got a problem with that. The reason why that's problematic is because your husband should be on the side of you changing your name if it means that you're going to be able to vote. His last name should not be more important than your right being taken away. If your husband wants to divorce you, if he's willing to get a divorce because you want to change your name, then it is time to go. Unless, of course, you as a woman is willing to not change your name and therefore give up your right to vote. Because that's essentially what you will be doing if your ID does not line up with your birth certificate. I know. I already know. It's not fair. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's illegal. You can't do that. Okay. Okay. I'm nervous for all of y'all. I'm nervous for the people who kept their husband's last name. You know what I mean? It doesn't even matter what the reason is. The point is, are you willing to change it now? Are you willing to change it now? Even if all of your success is attached to that name, are you willing to keep your name intact, his name intact, and therefore give up your right to vote? If the House passed this 220 to 208, along with 4 Democrats being a part of the 220, right? 4 Democrats, Texas, Hawaii, Arkansas, and I forgot what the other states, I think it's like Wyoming, something like that. These people have to be voted out, but you won't be able to do that if your name don't match up come midterms. See my point? If you're not seeing how this is all working in tangent for each other, I don't know. But I'm going to make sure that I'm the one telling you. I'm trying to keep you informed right now because this is going to be imperative to get this done. If you want to vote. If you don't want to vote, the only thing you're going to be able to do is complain about how it's not fair, it's stupid, and it doesn't make sense. And all of those things will be true. But what will also be true is that because you didn't go down and do what you were supposed to do, that you will not be voting. That's going to be the main point, that no matter how much you complain, you will not be voting if the Senate passes this. We have to assume the Senate is going to pass this. Why? Because we let this person get elected, right? This person is in the office, and they actually pushing all their their Project 2025 agenda. All of it's being pushed. We have to assume that the Senate is going to approve this. You already got 4 Democrats approving it on the House side. You will not be able to vote them out come November for their treason, basically, And like I said, all of this goes back to the idea of provision and protection for men. Nobody is being provided for. Nobody is being protected in this moment. What do you mean you want to get rid of the 19th Amendment? Women are not just going to go back into the kitchen. That's not how that's going to play out. It's not. It's not. And it's not. Women are not naturally submissive. And even for the women who will not go change their name and therefore will not vote if this passes, you're going to find out how Women have never been naturally submissive. Never. I don't know any woman that is submitting naturally. She's simply just doing it. But it's not something that comes natural. It's not in the DNA. It's not running in anybody's bloodstream. Okay? Submission has nothing to do with anything that has anything to do with your blood and your DNA strain. It's enough. Okay? Women do not submit naturally. And we're going to find that out the hard way. The unfortunate hard way for all the women who are still not going to do what they got to do and then still not want to listen. And I get it. You know what I mean? I get it on every side. But I'm just saying, what's it all going to be worth? Because I know I'm going to get my vote on. Period. Period. If I got to submit one paper 300 times, I'm going to do it. I don't care how many times. I already submitted it. Working at DSS for almost 7 years, and it helped me understand a lot. When you need to get stuff done, Stamina is what is going to be required of you. Even no matter how pissed off you get. No matter how wrong it is. No matter how many times you submitted it. Submit it again. That's why I always say, make 300 copies. Go up there if you need to. But that's just me. That's just how I roll. Because I'm going to get stuff done. No matter how long it takes me to get it done. And no matter how many times I procrastinated on trying to get it done. But I'm telling you, ladies, do not get caught slipping. Because the only thing you're going to have is your complaints. And nobody cares. Nobody. You know what I mean? Do not wait until it's too late. So you need to be on top of whether or not the Senate is going to pass the SAVE Act. I saw it yesterday on TV. And then, of course, I had to look it up. The fact that it was on TV is out of control. You know what I mean? Because you know for sure, y'all better be paying attention. Be paying attention. A woman's right to vote will not be amended unless they amend the Constitution. The SAVE Act is designed to make it hard. The SAVE Act is also designed, it does not have any provision for you to show any change of name documentation. What? I can't. Check your Social Security cards. Because that's one main place you're going to have to go to get your name changed. If your Social Security card already says your original last name, you in business. You in better business. Now you just need to go change your ID. If your Social Security card has another last name that's different from the last name on your birth certificate, that's one of the first places you need to go down and change it. Because you may not be able to change your ID without a Social Security card to back up the change. You need the card itself. It takes 6 to 8 weeks to get that card. Everybody already got fired at the Social Security Administration. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell y'all? You talk about backlog. Okay. Don't get caught slipping. And this isn't just for women. But this will disproportionately affect women, for sure. For sure. But if you have any name changes, your birth certificate is going to be the proof they would use of your citizenship and therefore of your name. Your ID will need to match your birth certificate. Handle your business, y'all. Or the business will be handled for you. And that's a fact. They do not want everybody voting. They don't. Period. This is going to be for foreigners too. Whatever name changes you got. Even if you document it correctly, it doesn't matter. Now that it's time for you to vote, man, listen. Enough. And I'm just saying, we in scary times. And this isn't, and This is not a time to let ego be involved. This is not a time to be letting your relationship get jacked up over a vote, over a name, and over your rights. Okay? This is why when people get upset about politics, people that have, you know, family disown with their family, not speaking to their family and things like that, that's why this is important. Politics is not an opinion, okay? It's not an opinion. This is about values and who gets to have the right. And so if you agree with people who are willing to take my rights away, don't say shit to me, okay? Yeah, we gonna fall straight out. Yeah. If I find out you a Trump supporter, I'm not saying you have to do what I want you to do. I'm saying that you could do what you want to do, and then I can decide for myself whether or not I want to deal with you behind that. You explain that to yourself and you reconcile that for yourself however you need to. Whatever it's going to take for you to reconcile. But you can do what you want to do, and then I could do what I want to do based off of that. Everybody's doing what they want to do, and that's okay. Okay? Everybody's freedoms and their rights are working exactly how they're designed. Now, if you're smart and you're a critical thinker, then you understand. I don't need you to agree with me. I'm not trying to get you to agree. I'm trying to get you to understand that you can choose to do whatever you want with your vote. You cannot vote for the 90 million people that sat it out. Yeah. I hope your name matches up, because you're going to pay the price too. You're going to pay the price too. And hopefully for everybody who was a non-voter back in November, hopefully you see the error in your ways and you will be ready to vote come November. Anything and a lot of things can happen before we even get to November. But one of the main things that needs to happen, like I said, is that name change. It's going to disproportionately affect women. But Jesus, everybody whose name is changed for any reason, you in trouble. You will not be voting. You will simply be complaining and saying how it's not fair and it's illegal. And there's nobody and nothing that's going to change that. You will be missing out on voting. This is extremely upsetting to me and my homegirl. Okay? Because we ready. We ready to vote. We don't feel like going to the booth, but we gonna go. You know what I mean? If there's more than one Democrat on the ticket, it is your job to do your due diligence and look up and see, you know, what's the best case scenario. You know what I mean? But when you vote in only your interest and as opposed to the interest of the collective, there's a price to be paid. There's a price to be paid. Like I said, I plan my votes going forward will be on the behalf of my daughter and the world that she will be living in. How I feel about it, in my personal opinion, does not matter if it's going to negatively affect her. That's my position. That is my position. I will not be voting anything that's going to go against my daughter having any rights or prosperity in this here country. Nevertheless, all these politics and things like that, my daughter will be going into the 5th grade coming up next year. As far as I'm concerned, as far as me potentially leaving the country, that's still on the table for me. That's still on the table. And in my mind, it's given, let her finish elementary and we could go, you know, middle school and further somewhere else. Life is easier, cheaper, non-political, and safer in so many other places. So many other places. And while we think we have the right to do this and the right to do that, our rights are actively being taken right from us, and people who are selfish as hell are voting them away. Voting them away. At least 8% of black women either did not vote. Come on, taxi. You're not trying to get your person to where they need to go. Because why am I... See? Anyway. What the hell was I saying? I'm super pissed off about this. I'm super pissed. But yeah, the idea of me leaving the country is a very real thing. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know. I don't know if the 19th Amendment, if they really want to amend the Constitution so that I can no longer vote, period, never mind a name change or an ID or a birth certificate. Can you even imagine living here in this America, in these United States of America, and now you can't vote anymore? I'm not living under those circumstances. I'm not doing that. I'm not living in a country where my daughter won't even get a chance to vote, not even once, because they over here amending the Constitution so that women can do what? Do what? Nobody. I mean, this is extremely upsetting. Extremely. I'm really upset about this, and I just hope, especially my ladies, I hope you ladies will get it together and understand what needs to be done. It is imperative to get this done. Because if the Senate votes this in, we in trouble. We in trouble. And trust and believe, if women lose their right to vote, guess who's next? Can you guess how the list goes? Because talking about who's next when it comes to voting is not the same as talking about who's next when it comes to ICE. It's not the same. It's not the same. We are foundationally black, no doubt about it. But if women lose their right to vote, black men are next. And then Hispanic people are next. There will be a next. That's how that is going to play out. That is absolutely how that's going to play out. Go handle your business. Don't be so attached to things that we are only indoctrinated to believe that you allow yourself and your rights to be taken from you. Go handle your business. That's my recommendation. But I'm really upset. I'm really upset about it because it's just like, wow. You know what I mean? Wow. And like I said, there is no such thing as women naturally submitting, the same way there's no such thing as men naturally protecting and providing. It's not natural. All of it is a choice. All of it is a choice. Because all you got to do is stop. Submission is not in your DNA. Protecting and provision is not in your DNA. It's not. This damn weather got me pissed off. I could barely see. All right, there we go. Yeah, so I'm upset, and I hope you ladies will, especially ladies, because like I said, women will be disproportionately affected by this. We can't let this happen, especially over a name change. Go back and get your name. And what I hate is, you know, the way getting married and all that works is about property, right? I have my grandfather's name. My grandmother, we have, you know what I mean? But that is the name that's on my birth certificate. That's the one I'm rolling with. But at the end of the day, again, go make sure your paperwork is in order. Don't just have your freedom papers available. Make sure they match up. If they don't match up, we are screwed in November. We're screwed. And that's going to make violence will be up by then. That's going to be extremely problematic. If you think the birth rate is down now, what's going to be the reason for women to get married and have children if men are putting us in a position where we can't even vote and participate? What is the reason? Why would you do that? You know what I mean? But again, why would we vote for? Anyway, I'm parked. I gotta go. I only got a chance to talk about this topic because I'm extremely upset about it. And I'm upset because I know there are a lot of people who are not going to handle their business, and the hooting and hollering that's going to go down is going to be just out of control. It's going to be galactical. You know what I mean? But we have 10 months to get it together. 10 months. Like I said, check your social security card. That needs to match up with your birth certificate. If it does, you'll be able to use that. Go down to the DMV, get your real ID, get your passport changed. Handle your business. But if it's worth you not being able to vote, then you won't be able to vote. And that's going to be the end of it. Okay? And I'm gonna have to see y'all on the other side, because like I said, I'm not living in a country where I have the right to do certain things and it just gets taken. While simultaneously being indoctrinated to believe, continue to be indoctrinated to believe that somebody is protecting me and providing anything, because that's not true. I protect myself. I provide for myself. That's it. That's how that works. That's the true reality of how things have always worked. Women have always been leaders. Women have always been the providers. This is why women run households, and this is why as soon as they stop doing things, nobody knows what's going on. It came out of left field. Everybody's confused. Come on, y'all. Anyway, y'all have a good day. Don't let nobody piss you off. I'm already pissed. So I'm going to just go ahead and be pissed for all of us. But please, and I'm going to keep talking about this, get down to them people's office and handle your business. I didn't even get a chance to talk about nothing else this morning because I'm so pressed and panini pressed. Like, come on, ladies, we got 10 months to get this together. Do not miss out on voting coming up, or even in the future, behind a name that ain't yours. Let's be for real. Okay? Enough. All right. Woosah, count to 10. Okay? Y'all already know I'm off tomorrow, so I won't see y'all until potentially Monday, depending on what they want to do with this weather and this ice storm. I don't know. But I better not see what happened at Russia happen here. I'm going to be heated, okay? Well, literally, I'm not going to be heated. Apparently, I'm going to be freezing. Anyway, let me go. Y'all have a good day, and I will do the same. And I will see y'all sooner than later. All right, bye.